Truth Talk. I'm Jelena.
I'm Chandler.
And today's topic is going to be over Agenda 2030.
It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. So really, Agenda 2030 was supposed to be, well, I guess it was Agenda 2021, but because they couldn't get everything done in that time frame, they rebooted it and made it to Agenda 2030.
And the interesting thing is they're saying, because what's happening right now, that they will probably be able to get to that agenda by 2030 now, or even before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy to think about too.
They just want to make sure it's done by 2030.
Yep. So basically, Agenda 2030, it is a commitment to eradicate poverty and achieve sustainable development by 2030 worldwide, ensuring that no one is left behind. The adoption of the 2030 Agenda was a landmark achievement, providing for a shared global vision towards sustainable development for all.
Yeah, and so the no one left behind, that makes it sound so, good, and they want to make sure that everybody's involved. And basically what that means is you are forced to. You have no way to opt out.
Yeah, because basically it's saying no one is left behind.
No one, you're not going to be left behind because you're going to be forced into it.
Right, and see, the thing about Agenda 2030, it's all about global. Like they want everything to be on the same level. Yep. Everyone's on the same level, and so that's pretty crazy with all that happening.
Yeah. So you remember, if you listen to Politics at All, Bernie Sanders, he was all about everything being free and everything being the same. Well, that's kind of what the globalists are.
Yeah, and Barack Obama, he wants Agenda 2030. He was a part of that stuff too. He wants to get it all. All done. Yeah,
if you do your research, you'll be surprised. Oprah Winfrey, she's one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
You'd be shocked to see who all is involved with this.
Yep.
Yeah. So why is it important? 2030 Agenda is universal, applying to all countries and actors. It requires all nations to take climate action, reduce unemployment, strengthen gender equality, and promote peaceful societies. To name a few, if the world is to eradicate poverty and shift into a more sustainable development.
Yeah.
So they make it, believe me, they are so great at their wording.
They are.
It makes it sound like that's what's wrong with that. It's so good. But it comes with a price, meaning your freedom is gone.
Here's the thing, is when they list everything, like what you were saying, is it sounds nice, like, no one left behind. But if you really, take a deeper look into it, it's like you're forced into it, and, everything else that, when you start digging in deeper, you're like, oh, well, that's not good how they want to implement all this.
Yeah, this is just very surface that we're talking about.
Yeah. So
Pelosi, in this stimulus package, she's basically saying, hey, let's give all these illegal immigrants, the money that should be going to the American people. Now, just to remind you, they're not paying taxes. This is coming from our money, and we're giving these people free money. And rights that we don't have, that right now we've had taken from us, they can still do it. Yeah. It's just craziness.
Yeah, and the other thing that they were proposing, and that is basically remote voting.
Yeah.
Which, when you start doing remote voting, that causes a lot of fraudulent actions to be taken.
Yeah, it's really easy to cheat, if it's not in person.
And if they want Trump out, that could be one way to do it. Definitely. But so there are 17 goals of Agenda 2030, and just remember, before we go into them, this is we're not even touching the surface of it. If you go deeper into them, then that's when you start realizing everything that it's not good what they're trying to do. So basically, their first goal is no poverty. Their second goal is zero hunger. Their third goal is good health and well-being. Their fourth goal is quality education. And their fifth goal is gender equality. And their sixth goal is clean water and sanitation. Their goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. And goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. And goal 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure.
Yeah. So you're right. You look at this and you're like, well, that doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. It's how we compare it is, when the Antichrist, when he goes to Israel and they sign the treaty, it's he's going to make it sound really nice. But if you would go to the fine print, then that's where it gets you. Because you see all these things that you didn't even realize. You basically sign like a death treaty.
Right. They just wrap it in this really beautiful package with a bow on top. And makes it look like, oh, well, this has got to be something really great on the inside. But when you open it up, it's not so great.
And like we said, we're just listing the goals out, and to help you better understand, we suggest like just going on their website. You can just type in Agenda 2030, and it'll take you to the website, and you can dive in more and start reading a whole bunch.
You'll be shocked.
Yeah, there's a lot to read about it.
A lot to read. So, okay, so the last 7, goal number 10 is reduced inequality. Next one, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but and life on land, peace and justice, strong institutions, and partnerships to achieve the goal.
Yep. And right now, it's like with Bill Gates with his ID 2020, like they have the Rockefeller, Foundation that's with them, and then they have like a bunch of like the world's like top vaccination companies, and they're with them trying to get stuff pushed.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of crazy everything that's happening. And another thing I saw, they want no poverty with Agenda 2030. And so what that means is they want like countries like Africa and stuff. They want, and I heard, what they were talking about, it's like they want them to become on the same level as the United States. And so when you hear that, that means they want everyone on an equal playing field. That's what globalists are for.
Right. So that means Africa is going to have to come up, but America is going to have to come down.
And I saw like
freedom again. It's gone.
And they were saying basically they want like the first world countries to start taking steps to where other nations can follow them. So it's like they want these top countries to make the steps to show the other countries, well, you need to follow this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so basically, what is the significance of basically them trying to usher in the global one world government and stuff? So Revelation talks about how the Antichrist will rule over a one world government, which is pretty crazy. Because in order to have control, you need to have the one world government, so everyone's not doing their own thing.
Right.
And so you get them underneath this one umbrella, and then like the Antichrist will come and he'll rule over that all those nations, and it'll be really easy to control because they're all underneath one law. They're all governed all the exact same.
And they have to bring some kind of crisis in order for people to need help, right? I mean, if everything's rainbows and butterflies, you're not seeking help. But when the government starts creating famines and crises and pandemics and stuff, well, then the world is going to be seeking someone that has the answers, which in steps the Antichrist with all the answers.
And the thing is, back then when Hitler was leading, like when he was trying to come in power, what he did is he would release all the inmates, which was our government.
Have you seen that lately? Yes.
Yeah. What is our government doing now? They are releasing inmates, and they said Hitler did that because he wanted there to be chaos. And so then what he did is, since he didn't want any violence, he went to people's houses and they started saying, we need to take your guns, and it'll just be like temporarily just for the fact that we want peace.
And we've heard that temporary thing too, and somehow it went from 14 days to 15 days to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Now we're 8 weeks.
Yeah, like before all this started, what you were saying is basically they're gonna do this so they don't freak people out.
Yes.
Because like they say, like communism, they take 2 steps forward and then they take 1 step backwards, but they still gain a step.
Yeah.
And they just keep, and then they say one day you wake up and you're like, how do we get in communism? And basically, what was that person from Romania? That guy, what he was saying about?
Yeah, that's where he was from, and he lived through them switching governments to communism, and everything that we are going through right now. I mean, they fled to America because of it, and now he's scared to death because he's seeing it all over again. From being quarantined and making sure that everybody's separated and no one's coming together. The large crowds are gone. It's illegal. Just all kinds of
And then he was saying too that part of that plan was they were saying that the government controls the media.
Yes.
Which, if you look at all the biggest media companies like CNN and MSNBC and all these people, they are all basically the government basically has control over them. The stuff that they put out.
And if all you do is sit there and listen to them, and you don't do any research on your own, you're going to believe it. Yeah, and that's why it's so important that sure, listen to it, see what's going on, see what they are saying, but then shut that TV off and go into your own computer and find your own research.
Yeah, and how you can tell they're controlling a lot of people. This flu isn't even bad.
Nope.
And there are people walking around like it's killing so many people. They're wearing masks. And then, of course, also with the communism, is that the government is saying what businesses can be open or what businesses cannot be open.
You know, let me put it into perspective. This virus is real. We are not saying it is not real.
Mm-hmm.
It is real. It does kill people, but so do car accidents. Do you see them taking the cars away from us? Well, not yet, but they could.
Yeah.
But I mean, for years, people have been driving cars, and for years, people have died in them every day, every year.
Yep.
But they don't say, "Oh, you've got to stop driving your car. We've got to keep you safe."
Mm-hmm.
No, they never have done that. Why? Because they didn't want to bring this together yet.
Yep.
They needed something very, very fearful that people are so afraid of that
Yeah.
they will be like, okay, anything to keep us
Right.
safe. We'll go into we're basically under martial law, but
Yeah.
it just hasn't been implemented.
Yes. And the thing is, too, they said the best way how they can get people fearful is if you start talking about their health.
Yep.
People will go running towards whatever will save them if they think their health is in danger.
And if you, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and you're seeing that happen right now with people.
Yeah.
And that's what they were saying, like, if, the vaccination comes out with, like, a chip or, anything they're trying to do, people will flock to go get it if they think they can return back to
Right,
whatever.
you bring them
they
to
want
fear to rule over them, and then you bring
Mhm.
them to desperation to get them to do what you want them to do. That's
Yep.
the way I see it.
Yeah, I
and,
agree.
and a lot of people are very desperate right now.
Yeah, they
A
are.
lot of people are desperate because people that have their own businesses and that got shut down, they can't draw unemployment. Like some of the people that they were under somebody working. Well, yeah, they get their unemployment plus $600 extra a week. But these people that were shut down, their businesses, their restaurants, their salons, they don't get that money.
Nope,
And they are becoming very desperate,
they are.
which is really sad.
Yeah,
It's come to
but
this.
that's what they have wanted, done all along. And the last thing I'm going to add, too, is they said you wouldn't even know about the coronavirus if it wasn't for the media.
No.
And you look every year, we have the flu every year, nothing's ever talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden this year, they start bombarding the news with it, and you see what happens. People are scared for their lives, like acting like it's killing, 20% of people.
Every time you turn on anything, stay safe, stay home.
Yep.
It's plastered everywhere
It is.
you look. Just get it into those people's minds.
Mhm.
Like, and then you see, on the covers of magazines, people with masks on.
And then you just go outside, like to the stores, and what do you see? People with masks
Yeah.
on. It's more just fear everywhere.
I've seen people riding in the cars with them, which
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense to
That's
me.
ridiculous. And, okay, I'll just have to add this one last thing, but it's funny because they're acting like, oh, a face mask is going to keep you from a virus.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you go to the store, you're touching all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It's just birth pains, and as far as the government is concerned, it's about control. So, I don't know about you, but I kind of like my freedom, and I like that I can make a choice if I want to work hard and try to make something of myself. I have that freedom to do that. I don't have to rely on the government to take care of me and to
Yep.
say what I can and cannot do. I like that freedom,
Yep.
and I'm sure most of you like that freedom too.
That's why people come to the United States, because
That's right.
we have this freedom that a lot of countries don't have.
What are we known for? The land of the free.
Yep.
Land
We
of
are.
the free.
And unfortunately, it looks like a lot of that freedom is being
Yeah, it's already
taken
been
away.
taken from us. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave it right there for this video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you have any prayer requests, as always, please leave them below, and we will make sure to get back with you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.
See ya.